Welcome to Franchise Success Formulas and the top 5 questions that franchisees like you were asking this week. I'm Aisha Bascaro, the truth teller, and I'm here to give you real insights, no fluff, just strategies to help you lead, grow, and prosper. So let's go ahead and get into it. And the first question is this: how can we effectively manage rising operational costs? And oh my gosh, haven't we have a lot of these in the past few years? It really feels almost like decades, right? Inflation seems to be a reality in our lives, and even with things changing, we're hoping that not only is it going to slow down, but hopefully reverse itself, because where we are right now is really shrinking the profitability of franchises. So how can you manage those rising costs? Well, I will tell you this. First of all, obviously, raising prices is one strategy. Now, one of the things that we worked with our franchisees, especially when we had hyperinflation, the past couple of years, one of the things that we were telling our franchisee clients was you should be looking at the cost of your products literally in a monthly basis. Now, things have slowed down a little bit right now, but you need to have a clear picture of where the cost of your business is. And the only way for you to know that exactly is by looking at the cost exactly the way they are. So one of the things that you should look at is have a place where you can document where the invoice costs for your product, especially if you are either in food service or personal service or any type of service where you use products and therefore you have cost of goods. Every month you should be looking at the invoices and put your top 10 products in a list. And every month you should be putting in there what is the pricing for that month for those products. And then next month you do it again and compare if there's any changes, and if there is, in what products and how much. That way you will have a pretty clear perspective, not just a guess or a feeling or intuition, but you will have hard facts. And that's what you first need to have. To be able to address the rising costs, you need to know how much is it really in how many products and how much is it impacting your business, so that you can make the proper decisions, especially around pricing. Because as we know, while pricing is a strategy for you to be able to, address some of these issues with rising costs, it is not one that you want to use too often, because it can actually affect your transaction count or the customer base. So first of all, find out exactly where you are month over month. Right now, things slow down, so we're recommending our clients to go maybe once a quarter. Again, top 10, top 15 items, whatever you think is appropriate within the mix of products that you use, and write it down, and month after month or quarter after quarter, look and analyze where the costs have gone. And now you will be able to make decisions on addressing pricing based on actual facts. So that's the first thing that you should do when it comes to rising costs. It's a reality that rising costs usually get passed on to customers. Now, if you can do other things to not pass on that much to customers, even better. For example, really understand where you are in your areas of waste. How much waste is happening in your cost of goods? How much waste is happening in your labor costs? How much waste is happening in other significant expenses in your business? And can you really get really nitty gritty into those and get into it and reduce that waste, so that by reducing our waste, you are actually overcoming some of the price increases that are happening. That means that you're going to have to become a better operator, and your teams are going to need to become better operators in your business. But that's what happens with, when tough time comes. And so that's another thing that you can do. One more thing I'm going to give you is, if you look at your products or your services, which ones of those are the most profitable, meaning the ones that have the least cost to be able to deliver. And then those are the ones that you may want to have strategies around marketing or upselling or promoting within your business, because then you still have the same products, but you are now promoting the ones that have a lower cost, so that you now are able to still manage your cost. So at the end of the day, the bottom line remains the same, even though the costs in other products have gone up. So those are a few things that you can do to be able to manage if your operational costs had gone up. All right, so let's go now to question number 2 for this week. And that it says, what strategies can enhance value without resorting to excessive discounting? Oh my gosh, yes. I do not encourage you to become a discount company. I know that coming from 20 years at Domino's Pizza, we ended up becoming a discounting company. You are rarely selling any pizza without having to give a coupon or a discount of some sort. You do not want to be in that situation. Trust me, it's now the business model for them, but it should not become yours. So one of the things that you can do to be able to enhance value without discounting is all about the culture and the customer experience. I mean, there are companies like Chick-fil-A that that everybody knows and refers to. I know we're sick and tired of talking about Chick-fil-A, but the reality is that they sell chicken sandwiches. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that that's special. And yet they are able to have a lineup of customers, double drive-through, and have an amazing business. Why? Because of the experience in service that they deliver. Now, what they do is not magical, okay? It is something that anybody can do, but you need to be willing to be committed to deliver that type of service, that type of experience to your customers. And so that will take to be Chick-fil-A like, or within your own company. What does that look like? What can you do that is distinguishing you from other franchisees or other competitors that makes you special, that when the customers come to you, they feel that it's something different without having to change anything? Because the reality is that you are a franchise. So there's not really much that you can change in terms of the operations of the business, but there's lots that you can change in terms of the experience of your customers in your business. And I would say that that would be a strategy that you can use that will make you different, that will add value to your customers without changing something about the brand or becoming a discounting company. And so I would say work on that. Have it be that when your customers come to your business, your store, your spa, your gym, your car wash, that truly there is a difference in the way in which they feel about themselves and the place and your brand and your business, that when they come there, they want to come back over and over again. So that's what I would say. Make yourself different without being different, but all about the culture and the experience of your customers. So that would be my answer for question number 2 for this week. So let's go to question number 3 for this week. And it says, how will technological enhancements, particularly AI, will impact our operations? Well, again, if you are a franchisee, there is really not much you can do in terms of implementing AI or in your operations per se, in the brand, like the product, the service, the image, the building, right? The services. That's something that will be driven by the brand, which I hope that they are definitely getting all over AI and ways to enhance, the brand and the brand delivery to the consumers. Now, on the business management side, you certainly can use, AI or technology in many ways. For example, most of the time, you're free to use whatever platform you want for labor scheduling or communication among team members, or about payroll, or about your team members' experience on HR relations. Like those are the areas that you as a franchisee can be looking at platforms and processes in which technology and or AI can help enhance your team members' experience in your business. Because if your team members' experience is better, clearly the customer's experience will be better. That's why they say that the customer experience will never exceed your employees' experience. I'm going to tell you that is true. If your people, if your team are enjoying their experience in your company, and the reality is that all of them expect technology. Many of them really enjoy things that are driven by AI and personalization. So if you as a franchisee can find platforms or services that you can use to help you with that, absolutely. One of the things that I have done all my life is embrace technology. I literally bought my first laptop. It was a 12-pound IBMer in 1993, okay? There was not even Excel back then. Barely there was some word processing programs. And I just love technology. I think it's amazing. I'm not an expert by any means, but I'm never shying away from utilizing any tool that I can to improve the quality of my life, the quality of my work, the experience, and technology is so super fun. So I will invite you to definitely embrace, technology. I'm sure that in your franchisors conference, there's going to be brands and businesses that were going to display what they can do for you. Or if you go to other conferences where you can see, what technology is happening. Right now, technology is growing so much. I remember I am from the generation that I had black and white TVs, okay? Now, do not think of the age. But yeah, I actually remember when I was a kid, we had black and white TVs. Now, look how far we've come with technology and how much more are we able to do in so much less time. I'm fascinated by it still. The fact that I could get on a plane and 8 hours later, I'm in the other side of the world in like South Korea. I have never stopped being in awe of what's possible in this world through technology. So that's what I would say. When your franchisor, starts implementing things that include technology and AI, learn all about it, embrace it, make the most out of it. And in your own control are the systems that are around the management of your company and your team. Definitely look into those type of things because those are the ones that are going to help you get ahead in your business. Okay. So with that, let's go to question number 4. It says, what are the best practices for leadership development within our teams? Well, first of all, I would say before we go into what are the best practices, the first step would be do something. There are so many franchisees that have leaders, have trained them on the operations day to day of the business, but they do not do anything further than that when it comes to formal training and development of those leaders. Somehow, maybe you wish and you hope that they naturally are going to develop leadership skills. And so I would say that the first best practice is do something. It could be something as simple as doing a book of the month, like literally as simple as that. Pick a book, a small book, a short book, and actually better yet, if it's on video or audio, because people, these days don't really like to read very much, but definitely do that, and then have a monthly discussion, even if it's on Zoom, remote, so nobody has to go anywhere, to talk about the concepts on leadership on that book or audio that you picked. I mean, that is an easy, low-hanging fruit that you can do right now that it is more than zero, okay? So if you're zero, I would say, how about start with something like that? Now, obviously, there's much more than you can do. There are a lot of formal trainings and programs that you can invest in, or you can have your team members go through so that they can learn and grow and improve in the leadership and management skills. And anything that you invest in your people when it comes to leadership and management skills is going to be things that are going to returning back to you in your business, because making them better leaders is just going to make them better managers, which is going to make you have better results in the units that they run, which, by the way, belong to you. Definitely think of everything that you invest in that is going to be important. So let's say that we go beyond the book of the month club. How about having, every week when you have your business meetings, and I'm hoping that you're having business meetings every week with your managers and your leaders, why not dedicate a part of that time to developing leadership skills among them? Pick a topic every week, a short 5, 10, 15-minute topic, maybe share a video or something where every week there is something that you teach in them on leadership and skills or management skills. That's another best practice that literally I'm always thinking about or recommending to our clients. Think of low cost, high impact. So this book of the month or weekly meeting training is something that you can do yourself. It's easy to implement because, by the way, the secret of high execution is simplicity. So how about doing that? Make it simple. And if you make it simple, you're more likely to consistently execute every week or every month in your organization. And other things that you can do is look for programs where you can then have your managers have continuing education beyond what the brand offers and beyond what you can offer. Because the reality is that many franchisees and business leaders are not quite good teachers themselves. So why not look for outside resources? By the way, here is a shameless plug, like the American Franchise Academy, and look for the resources that they can provide and how much more they can develop your people. Because again, every penny and every hour that you invest in your leaders to develop their skills is time and money that's going to come back to you tenfold, because they're going to become better business managers for your organization. So hopefully those tips help you a little bit. So let's go back now to question number 5 for this week. That would be, how can we adapt the changing consumer behaviors and preferences? I find it interesting that this was one of the top 5 questions from franchisees, because the reality is that franchisees don't really have much of a power over changing, consumer behaviors or preferences within the organization, within the brand. You are limited by whatever the brand defines are the standards and the product or services that you have to deliver. Now, what you can do is within those, understand how preferences are changing. There's this amazing report that I always loved when I was running operations called product mix. Maybe it might be called service mix in service-based operations. As you know, most of my career was in food service, so obviously a lot of my language is around food service, but everything that we talk about in management and leadership applies to any industry. So the question to you, franchisees and leaders that are not in a food service brand, what do you call the report where you can see how much of each service is being sold? That's the report that you want to look at constantly. And, that mix of services of what the customers are buying, that is what's going to be changing as the behaviors and preferences change. So if you pay attention to those reports and understand, for example, 10% of my product mix, 10% of my sales mix came from facials, but now it's up to 15%. So it seems to be that there's an increase in care for, skincare. So if that's the case, then maybe I want to be able to promote or talk more about skincare services and products that we have, because it seems to be that more and more people are interested in those type of services. So for you to be able to adapt with your customers within what you already have provided by your brand, you need to be aware of how are these preferences changing. So not only can you then do the promotions and the marketing for those type of preferences now, but also train your team members in upselling or reminding the customers that you have those services. And if you remind your customers or let them know that you have this type of services, people are going to go like, oh yeah, I want skincare. I didn't know that you had that. And now I'm going to ask you for it. And now I'm going to be more of a loyal customer because now you are offering something that is more of something that I'm looking for. An example I would tell you, Massage Envy is a very clear example. Isn't it interesting that a brand that has a specific name called massage actually has facials and skincare, and the only way that the customers will know that is if they are actually promoting it and upselling with the customers as they come to the business. So that is a way that you can actually adapt to changing consumer behaviors and preferences, as the question of the top 5 questions from franchisees this week. All right, so that's it for Franchise Success Formulas for this week. If this helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe the podcast. And why not drop a question? Because if you do drop a question in the comments, I may just answer your question next week. So in the meantime, lead, grow, and prosper, and we'll see you next time.